Law Talk with Nick Maruchak. Thanks to MKI Legal, your trusted employment and family lawyers.
I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Yeah, if you fight the law's going to catch up with you most times, isn't it, Nick Maruchak?
Yeah, sometimes it wins, but most of the time it does.
Sometimes it wins, most of the time it does. If you'd like to speak to Nick, you can. 133 882 call in. Murray and David will get to you in just a moment. Were you working tomorrow, are you?
Yeah, a lot of public holidays, and I've been working a lot because the office is quiet. I can get a lot done, and it's great. But probably maybe next year during this Easter break where there's a lot of public holidays, I think I'll go away.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Yeah.
Treat yourself, Nick. Can't take it with you when you go, mate.
Yeah.
So the saying goes. Murray, g'day.
G'day, Simon. How you going?
Good, mate. Far away.
I've got a question about power of attorney. There's one in place, but can you add another name to that, or do you have to draw up a new form?
My recommendation is to draw up a new form. So revoke the old one and make clear statements that it's no longer binding, rip it up and create a new one. They're quite easy to create. You can get some templates online. The Western Australian government has really good templates you can follow. But yeah, the process is to destroy the old one and create a new one. With wills, you can do an amendment. You can do something called a codicil, which amends a will. But with power of attorneys, the idea is to just create a new one.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Thanks, Murray. Good on you, mate. Thanks for your call. G'day, David.
G'day, Simon and Nick.
Hey, mate.
I've got a vacant block in a regional town, and someone I know has gone and had a look at the block, and they've seen a 44-metre dumpster on the block. I don't know. There's no markings on the dumpster as to what company would own it, but I've rung the council to find out how I can get the dumpster taken off my block, and they said they can't send a ranger onto private property, and so I've rung the local police up there. It took me half an hour to get someone to answer the phone, but apparently from the girl that I spoke to, who then spoke to a sergeant, said he wasn't interested and there was nothing they could do. So how can I get the bin taken off my block?
Is it a bin? Is a dumpster a vehicle, Dave? Did you say 44 metres?
No, it's a 4 metre bin, yeah.
Oh, yeah, gotcha. All right.
Yep.
What do you reckon, Nick? It's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically there is a process, there is a law called the disposal. There's laws dealing with uncollected goods. So if uncollected goods are left on your property, there is a process you can go through. If you know who the person is, you have to write to them or take certain steps, and then you go to the court to get permission to sell it. You sell it, and then the proceeds of sale you can use to pay off your costs, right? So the question I have is, do you know who? I'd imagine you don't know who the owner of this bin is, right?
That's right, and I don't know who organised to put it there. But I, when I finally got through to the police, I didn't actually speak to the sergeant, but coming back from the sergeant, apparently I said, well, what about trespassing, putting it on the block and, abandoned rubbish or something like that? But they weren't interested in helping me at all. So how can I get rid of it?
Has it got stuff in it, Dave? Has it got rubbish in it?
Yes, mate, it has, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
My son took a photo of it, but I can't see what's in it, but it has got rubbish in it, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so the question is whether you would need to take steps under the Uncollected Goods Act or whether you can just dispose it by yourself, right? So there's a small risk that if you dispose it and just take it to the bin, to the dump, that the owner will come and sue you, right? And that seems like it's probably unlikely because there is this process under Collected Goods Act that I just want to double check to see if you actually have to take those steps. If you don't have to take these steps under the legislation, then you can just dispose of it and get rid of it. Right?
It's going to be at David's cost, isn't it? David, can I ask what town you're talking about?
Yeah, Broome.
In Broome. So someone's put a dumpster on your vacant block in Broome, and no one seems to know who it is, and the Broome council is saying we can't go on there because it's private property. Can you give them permission to go on, Dave?
Well, that wasn't offered to me, but I don't know. Can I?
I'm
Well, look, my son took a photo of the bin and there's no company name on the bin. And I don't know how they will track down whose bin it is.
Yeah, sure. Well, look, Dave, I'll put you back to Sean and Sienna, and we might see if we can follow it up with the Shire President or with the council there, because that's that's not okay. And the reason I asked what was in it, Dave, if it's full or near to full, or maybe someone will come and take it away anyway.
I guess so, Simon, but I just found it a bit rude because, I've had the block for a fair few years and I've had numerous people ring me up wanting to buy it. So it's not like my contact details are
hard to find.
Top secret, you know what I mean? And if someone had rung up and said, look, can I put it there? It probably would have been fine, but I just thought I'd go down the road of trying to get rid of it because they were rude enough just to, put it on the block. And I want to get rid of it. I don't want it on there.
Dave, I'll put you back to Sean, and we might give the Shire a ring on your behalf, just to let them know that we're interested and see if we can. Yeah, I mean, the Shire would have trucks and would have the ability to pick it up. They'll have their own rubbish trucks as well, and see if we can get it moved for you. But we'll stay in touch, hey, David?
Okay then, Simon. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. It's 20 minutes to 11. Bizarre. Hello, Michael.
Oh, g'day. How are you, boys? I was just bringing up a quick question. I left the pub and got pulled over by RBT 1 minute later, and I blew .11, which is quite a high rating, but then the proper suitcase breathalyzer come out, and 15 minutes later I blew .050 exactly. I was just wondering, because there's such a big discrepancy over the 15 minutes with the reading, have I got a leg to stand on to go to court and argue that?
So when they breathalyse you, there usually is a waiting period, right? So they'll
It's changed. So the sorry to interrupt, Nick, but this, Michael, I know this because we reported on it on the show. The legislation changed, I think, last year or the year before, Nick. So originally they would say to you, you've blown .07. When did you have your last drink? And they'll do a calculation. But now it's what you blow at the time. So you are either infringed or charged according to what you've blown at the time. But if the second reading is .05, Michael, I would imagine that's the reading they had to take. Have they pinged you for the .11, have they?
No, there's just they .11 on the handheld, and then the proper suitcase breathalyzer went to .050 exactly. So I was like, 100th off .049. So it's quite disappointing, but... Yeah, if you blow and that's what you go then.
Mate, that's my understanding from the legislation, and I don't know if Nick's across this or if he wants that way in. But my understanding is whatever you blow at the time is now the reading. There's no calculation, there's no extrapolation, there's no licence given. So if you've blown .05, you'll be pinged for that, mate, I think.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael. And does that sound right to you, Nick?
Yeah.
You're the lawyer. I'm the
this is an
whatever
area.
I am.
The criminal law is not my strongest area, but it's .0. Yeah, 5 is
in excess of .05 is an offence or an infringement, I think, Michael. But that law changed a few years ago. So I lots of time, lots of people I know, and even myself, you used to be asked, when did you have your last beer? You say 3 hours ago, and they say, well, it's probably going to come off and go down a bit the way you go. But these days, it's what happens at the time. Be interesting question to see if they're getting more people or less under the new regime. I reckon we'll ask the coppers that one day. Thank you, Michael. Nick Maruchak is with us today. It's 17 minutes to 11 o'clock, 133 882. Nick, we just spoke to Dr. Kay McIntosh, who's the owner of the Bicton Vet Clinic, and she's owed some money, personal damages and business damages, from an individual of the amount of $300,000, and the individual isn't paying up. What's the recourse to seek remedy there?
So I understand this individual's been bankrupt now, right? So the bankruptcy trustee would be responsible for this person's affairs. And the bankruptcy law gives you a certain amount of minimum income you can keep. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's about the first 50,000, first 70,000, something like that. It's between 50 and 70. You can keep everything you earn under that amount. You can keep for paying your everyday living expenses, but then usually everything you earn above this amount, half of it will go back to the bankruptcy trustee. So over the next 3 years, the income that this person will earn, the bankrupt person, if it earns over that amount, half of it will have to go back to the bankruptcy trustee. Then the bankruptcy trustee would take the bankrupt person's assets, or sell them all off. You can keep a certain amount of assets, like you can keep your clothes and a few other things like that, certain motor vehicles under a certain value, but they're like the necessities, but everything else is sold off. Then the bankruptcy trustee would take all of their fees, right? So this can add up, and then what's left over after 3 years of bankruptcy gets distributed to the creditors. And it's only a 3-year period. It can be extended if the bankrupt person doesn't follow the rules. But after 3 years, you get a clean slate and you start again.
Yeah, all right. Wow, we got a feel for Kay McIntosh down at the Bicton Vet Centre. Nice little community vet, and owed $300,000 by Tash Peterson. Hasn't seen a cent of it as yet. We'll come back. More of Nick Maruchak after these. 15 and a half minutes to 11. Anthony, stay there, mate. Talk to you in a sec. Nick Maruchak with us from MKI Legal. Nick and I are fighting the law, but the law is winning. Anthony's phoned in. G'day, Anthony.
Yeah, good day, guys. How you going?
Good, mate.
Nick, I just wondered if you could help me, mate. I've got an issue. I've had an issue with Water Corp for the last few years, mate, and I've been to the Energy Ombudsman's office, and they're as useless as the National Greens Party. I've got an issue where I'm not getting constant water through to my property because obviously the property is it's not old, it's only less than 25 years old, and they've got the current water meter located in my neighbour's property. So the water that's going from the direct mains water going to the water meter is perfect because it's only literally half a metre from the mains to the water meter. But then from the water meter to my property, it's about 30 metres. Now, I'm getting dribs and drabs of water through. I'm not getting a constant flow. I've had, Water Corp out there probably 60 times in the last couple of years to test the water pressure. I had the workers out there. They say, we could come here all day, every day and test it. You're going to have perfect pressure. But what ideally needs to happen is your water meter needs to be located on your property so that you get a constant feed of direct 65mm pipe to your water meter, and then you only got a 2-metre access from the water meter to your property for water, which is going to give you a constant flow. Now, this is what their supervisor was saying on site. He was saying it's not a hard job considering where the location of the water meter's got to go, and considering there's a whole lot of sand and, plant bed in front of the footpath, so they don't need to dig any footpath up, they don't need to do anything, and the connection's literally just a T-piece up the top. He was, and the foreman at the time was saying, mate, good luck trying to get the Water Corp to do it because they won't do it, but if you paid for it, they will do it. They ended up giving me a quote of nearly $18,000 to do it, where yet a local plumber is only about $1,500. Now,
$18,000, Anthony.
Correct. Oh. I can't read my water meter because it's in my neighbour's property. So the bills that they're sending me, A, I can't even verify, and B, I don't even know if they're charging me the right amount of water. So I've constantly rang them and said, listen, I need to check the water meter. I refuse to pay the bill. And they constantly send me letters threatening me to turn my water off, take me to court, do this, do that.
So would you?
I get constantly frustrated.
Anthony, I can hear that. I would be too. So why can't you just use a plumber that's going to cost you a couple of grand? What can't you find a Water Corporation approved plumber?
No, because you're tapping into the mains water meter, their own own pipe. You can't touch it. It's got to be done by them. Now, I don't see why. I've been into their office and I've tried to talk to higher up people, and I get these two clowns. One's the guy that does the maintenance at the Water Corp, and this other guy doesn't even give me his full details. I recorded all on video, and I was going to put it down on TikTok. And they basically threatened to call the police on me because there was nobody there. Yeah, well, that a higher up manager.
Hold up, Anthony. Let's hold up. I think you need permission to film people, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. So, again, mate, I reckon maybe we can talk to the Water Corp media people, see if we can sort that out, because that's probably going to be a wider issue for other users as well. Yeah. So, as a landowner, you're entitled to have water supply at a suitable service, right? So this is a right that we all have, and it sounds like this right hasn't been actioned here. Yeah. And so normally I would recommend that you go to the Ombudsman, right? So there is a specific Ombudsman that deals with this, and it's the Energy and Water Ombudsman. And I understand that you've been there already. Haven't had any luck, but that is the process you normally go through. You make a complaint to them.
You say that Water Corp is not fulfilling their duty under the Act to provide proper water service to me, and you push that to a decision. So I'm just asking, Anthony, how far have you got with that?
Well, basically, the information that the Water Corp gave the Ombudsman was a bunch of lies. I've asked for it to be reviewed, and the Ombudsman keeps saying, oh, you know, they've allocated a person, that person's got a conflict of interest because they know someone that works in the Water Corp. That Ombudsman, between you and me, is the biggest waste of time and energy you've ever dealt with. You deal with these people, you tell them your story, they say, yep, you've got a right to do that. They go to Water Corp, they must be paid by Water Corp, and then they come back with a different answer because the answer they give you is that you've got water to your water main. Yes, I do. But my water main is located in my neighbour's property.
How did it end up there, Anthony? Why is it there?
Well, they subdivided the property 20-odd years ago, and it was the cheapest spot for it to be put.
Okay, all right.
At the time.
Yeah, so Anthony, we're running out of time a bit. I'll put you back to Sean, and we'll see if we can chase it up from a media perspective as well, because that's not cool. Anthony, cool your jets a bit, mate. I wouldn't go in there filming people if that'd be my advice. I don't know what Nick thinks, but
I agree.
Yeah, you need to maybe cool your jets on it a bit, and let's see if we can find some middle ground for you. I mean, if you can get it fixed for $1,500 or $2,000, but as Nick Maruchek says, it's a right. Yeah, it's what you. Part of your water bill is connection fees, isn't it?
Yep, you have to have reliable service, and that's the duty of the water corporation to provide that under the Act.
Yeah, all right.
So, but when you record people, the only time you can record them is if you're recording to protect yourself from economic harm or personal harm as well. So it's technically illegal if you're recording a private conversation, but there are exceptions, and a lot of people do it. But I would say, be very careful to do it.
Just before we let you go, the ACCC have sued LDV, the car manufacturer, which Chinese ute importer. They've taken them to court. So our consumer watchdog have taken LV to court over claims the vehicles go rusty when driven as advertised.
That's right. So the ACCC has received over 5,000 complaints between 2018 and 2024 that these vehicles are going all rusty after 5 years. LDV says, markets their vehicles being highly durable and rust and corrosion proof, and that turned out not to be the case. So finally, it's really good to see the ACCC take some action because you don't. The reason they took these actions is because there's so many complaints, right? Sometimes when you complain to ACCC or Department of Commerce and it's just a one-off incident and it's just you, nothing happens, right? But
5,000.
Yeah, 5,000. So they're being sued for, breaching a whole bunch of Australian consumer law, like misleading and deceptive advertising. So, and when it comes to motor vehicles, Australian consumer law sets a certain standard that these vehicles have to be durable and last a sufficient period of time. So, claim looks good if everything checks out. So they're going to get penalties and fines, and if they're successful.
Yeah, all right. Nick, that's all we got time for today. I understand you'll be in the MKI Legal office tomorrow, or at least working from home, getting some important paperwork. Don't forget to stop and smell the roses, Nick.
I will.
Get out there tomorrow, and I know you're a good, hard-working lad, but enjoy Anzac Day and the Anzac Day long weekend.
Thank you, Bowie.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for speaking to our listeners today. Really interesting. That dumpster on the vacant block has me perplexed. We will chase that up with the Shire of Broome, and we'll see if we can help Anthony by talking to our friends at the Water Corp.